So there's two ways we can approach this game as a reaction. The glass half full, which would be that this is the best defense by far in the NFL and it has been the past two seasons, or we could go glass half empty and talk about the penalties. I lost track after 10 guys. I was counting and I was like this is exhausting. The offense was not able to push the ball down the field. Like the defense was so good that the Raiders didn't even have a single passing yard in the third quarter. They also did a pretty good job against Max Crosby. I thought both fronts played very well and they just won. It was as simple as that. So give credit to the Raiders defense. But the Broncos already have not pushed the ball down the field this season, yet alone where they're backed up due to penalties. It was a very, very long night and very frustrating night. I wasn't even at this game and I felt like I was just because of how frustrating it is. But at the end of the day, a win's a win. 8-2 on the season. Sort of starting to pull away in this division. I get that the Chargers are right there. They have the tiebreaker, but the Chargers are definitely heading in the wrong direction with all those injuries, and the Broncos are heading in the right direction. 8-2, and the offense hasn't played well. Of course, it's only going to improve. But we do have to talk about Bo Nix. I might save that for a different video because I just want to talk about the good in this. So let's talk about the good. So Nick Bonito and Zach Allen were just absolutely flying over the field. They were winning their matchups. At one point, the Raiders had two tight ends at Bonito just because he was making that much of an impact. There was a lot of cleanup as well as those guys were able to flush the pocket. And then defensive end, for example, was able to bring him down. Everyone just competed. Talanoa Hufanga had, of course, that massive sack on 4th and 5, which definitely sort of changed the game. Nick Bonito with a sack and a half, which sacks don't really matter. It's the pressures that matter. I don't have my phone on me, but dude, like the numbers from this game were just crazy. And the numbers are even crazier when you talk about the amount of sacks that the Broncos have had this season compared to the rest. I mean, it's just absolutely mind-boggling what Vance Joseph and his defense has been able to do. And I know I talk about this a lot, but 2 years ago, the Broncos gave up 70 points in a game. They had the worst defense in the NFL. And just, again, 2 years later, this team has the best defense in football, and they're just absolutely dominating whoever they play. I mean, we're talking about 10 weeks of football now, and only one game the defense didn't play well in, which was the Colts game. Outside of that, though, they've been lights out, and they've really just put this team on their backs, that side of the ball. This defense is just, it's so elite to the point where no matter who the Broncos play, they're going to have a chance to win. Like the Chargers game, they lost because Bo Nix just missed a couple of throws. The Colts game, they lost because of a leverage call. Despite the defense not playing well against the Colts, they still should have won. Like that's kind of the thing here is the Broncos should be 10-0, and they're only going to get a lot better. Bo Nix definitely held this team back last night. It wasn't all his fault because the penalties were just exhausting. And the play calling, I don't think the play calling's been great, if I'm being honest. Like, the Broncos just aren't really prepared every single week offensively. It's like that. There was one specific drive where they were trying to go tight formation, and they just couldn't get set. And there was false starts, and then the handoff, and just went nowhere. It's like, I don't know why the Broncos don't just let Bo Nix control the offense and play within the flow and to get him in a rhythm. I mean, again, every single week we're talking about the same thing. And if we're noticing it as the fans, I mean, obviously the coaching staff is, and they're not making any changes. So let me know your guys' thoughts on that and how you think that the Broncos can get Bo Nix going, because it's pretty inexcusable that he had 16 completions for 150 yards, which that honestly isn't terrible, but it's the two interceptions and the fact that he was 16 of 28. It's just not the type of efficiency that you want. Like, I like the fact that J.K. Dobbins got 18 carries. 77 yards isn't like the best efficiency in the world, but R.J. Harvey had 4 carries for 9 yards. So that's kind of the thing, though, is if the run game isn't working, you're going to have to put it through the air. And there was one drive in this game where the Broncos were just able to push the ball down the field and contain Max Crosby and Nick Seuss's eyes, of course, to move the defense. And then after that, it was pretty bad, man. That was second quarter. Like in the fourth quarter of the season, I remember seeing this during the broadcast. The Broncos are a plus 60 in point differential, so that means they're doing all of their damage late in games. They're getting out the slow starts and it's kind of setting themselves back. And by the way, I should have mentioned this way earlier. That touchdown that the Raiders scored, the Jenny run, that was literally 0 on the clock for a second. I mean, technically, they do allow you to snap the ball in 0, but it can't be like a whole full second. That's preposterous, after it. So that should not have counted. That would have backed up the Raiders 5 yards, or at least like made them use a timeout. And they certainly would not have scored. I mean, we'll never know. I guess I can't say that, but I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't have scored. So it's like the defense was so good that even the 7 points they gave up like shouldn't have counted technically, right? So I just wanted to point that out there. Yeah, I'm gonna be that guy. Of course, I'm gonna be that guy. But Pat Bryant had a catch for 43 yards. He also had another big catch, but there was a pass interference right before it, which took that away. No, nothing new, right? in this game, at least, is the Broncos having a play that's wiped away due to a penalty. Troy Franklin, 5 for 40 and a touchdown. I tweeted out that he's so good, and then he had that drop, which almost cost the Broncos the game. It just like hit right off of his hands, bounced in the air, and was picked off by Kelly, his second pick of the game. Oh yeah, that brings me to, because his first interception, Bo Nix threw in double coverage. I don't know what Nix was doing. Like, he was trying to make a play, but you can't overthrow a receiver. I mean, as a QB, if you're gonna push the ball down the field, you can never overthrow a receiver because it's gonna be intercepted or incomplete. If you underthrow him, maybe he makes a play on it, or there's a pass interference, which would have got the Broncos in a field goal range. I don't know what Nix was even thinking. There was nothing there at all. Like, I get if he had beat the defense, it's like, all right, but he hadn't. That's like, it's just a bad decision. Cortland Sutton, 3 for 24. That 14-yard catch he had was a huge one, man, because I think they needed like 14 yards to be able to move the chains. So that was a big-time catch. Adam Prentice had a catch for 13 yards off of that bootleg. I really like that. The funny thing is, right before that happened, I was saying to myself, bootleg this, man. Perfect time. First down. They're expecting a run. Get a little bit creative, and they did, and it worked. Like, Sean Payton needs to get in his bag a little bit more here. I don't know what he's trying to do. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's all Bo Nix and not Sean Payton. I just feel like it's kind of a mix of both. Like, I feel like Bo Nix isn't helping the team, and I feel like Sean Payton isn't helping the team. So I'm going to blame both of them if I'm being real. RJ Harvey, 2 catches for 9 yards. Dobbins had a catch for 7 yards. I liked how the Broncos were able to run the ball towards the end of this game and just chew the clock. When teams know you're running and you can run it, there's nothing more powerful than that in the NFL. So I thought that was awesome. And yeah, the defense, they end up finishing the game, allowing only 74 rushing yards. More impressively, 143 passing yards. They did have an interception. 6 sacks is crazy. There had to have been probably like close to 20 pressures in this game if I had to guess. Tyler Lockett, 5 for 44. It's crazy because I just got done watching this game and I feel like I barely even recognize how. I'm just so used to him being in a Seahawk uniform, man. It doesn't look right seeing him in, of course, silver and black. And then Brock Bowers had a 31-yard catch he was working against Jahdae Barron. Just beat him. It's as simple as that. No Pat Surtain in this game. That's crazy. And they only gave up 143 passing yards. I feel like the Raiders' damage literally came on that one drive. I mean, of course, like, no matter how good your defense is, you're probably going to give up a good drive. It happens. But outside of that, like, it was absolutely lights out. And AJ Cole started off with 2 punts at the 1-yard line, and then it went downhill from there, man. I mean, if I'm being honest with you. So, yeah, credit that. I did call it kind of the Broncos special teams, but they did block a punt, and they probably wouldn't have won if they hadn't done that. It's just one of those games where you're happy you won it, because if the Broncos had lost, like, oh my God, at home to the Raiders, that would have been just, it would have killed all the momentum this team's building. I mean, they're winning games, but it just doesn't feel like this is a Super Bowl level team. And I lost a bunch of subscribers when I said that in my last video, which, I mean, I guess good riddance. I mean, to that point, I mean, if you're gonna unsub because of my opinion, that's cool and all. But like, what are we really watching right now is kind of my point, is that this doesn't look like the Broncos team with Peyton Manning and Von Miller. Like, it just doesn't. I'm not expecting it to be that good. Those were some of the best teams ever, but it's like, come on, man. I mean, they got to get it together offensively. Like, this team has to at least be able to put up 20 points, bro. Like, you have the best defense of football. Just score 20 points and you're going to beat anyone, man. And they're going to be tested against the Chiefs. We'll find out who the Broncos really are next week. Well, technically this week. Or sorry, next week. Yeah, it's Friday when I'm recording this. Yeah, we'll find out next week who the Broncos really are. If they beat the Chiefs, I don't even care how they beat them. Just beat them.